That's it. Yeah. As far as position players, um, as of now, right now, the Rafi will play third. Enrique will play short. Christian will play second. Bobby will play first. Christian is going to catch. We're still working in the outfield. See how guys feel after their workout today. But right now, those guys are gonna start on Sunday.
Alex, finally you can actually answer the questions about Marwin. So, what do you see his exact role being, and where do you see him playing the most?
Well, I mean, good defender, switch hitter, so he can protect Bobby at first. He can protect people at second, hitting lefty. He can play third against a tough lefty. Whenever Rafi gets on day off, he can play short, and he's a left-handed hitter to help Xander. He can play left. He can play right. Very versatile. Last year wasn't a great year for him, but it's a guy that he look at 19. He hit the ball hard. He hit the ball hard with the Twins, and we have a really good relationship. He's a guy that I trust. I know he can do a lot of stuff on the field, in the clubhouse, and I'm happy that he's with us.
Do you see him platooning with Franchi and Renfro in the outfield primarily?
I see him playing all over the place. I'm getting at bats. The fact that he's a switch hitter, it gives us balance as far as the roster. And we got a lot of versatile guys, and we've been talking about this the whole off season. And to have Enrique and Marwin in the same in the same in the same team, just being creative, right? People talk about creative teams and how cool it is. Well, we have a cool team too, and they're gonna help us a lot. They know how to play defense. Is whenever they play, you're not worried about making the right decisions and throwing to the right base, being in line in a cutoff man. So both of them, they're really solid. We're gonna ask them to do a few things in the clubhouse too. So like I said, I'm happy that we ended up with both of them, and this and it's gonna help us out a lot.
Alex, just curious, Governor Baker just announced a few minutes ago that starting at the end of the month, the Garden and as well as Gillette Stadium and Fenway Park will have limited capacity fans. For you guys, it would be about 4,500. It looks like starting on opening day. How nice is that? How good is that? And how much would you welcome the Fenway faithful back to Fenway Park?
Well, I mean, I wasn't part of last year, but talking to the players, it was weird, and obviously where we at with the virus to have fans is great. It's great. From our end, that means that our families can actually be part of it too, and that means a lot for them to go to Fenway and watch us perform, which is cool. Things are trending in the right direction, right? And that's another step. And then hopefully, whenever we can, we're gonna have a packed house, and that's gonna be really, really special. But I think whatever, I don't know, 2,000 here, 4,000 in Fenway, is gonna feel great. It's gonna feel special. Talking to some of the guys that play in the World Series, we have Enrique, we got Hunter. It was a different feeling towards the end, so it'll be cool to at least have X amount of fans and also our families.
Alex, Verdugo was in here earlier talking about just his approach to hitting and just sort of how he's a huge bat to ball guy and obviously had success for you guys last year. What are the benefits you think of being in the age of swing and miss, having that balance to a lineup, having a huge bat to ball person?
We can't strike out all the time, right? And obviously we cannot live and die with a home run. Although there's been certain teams that have done it the last few years, the Twins, right? But making contact, it works, and he has a great feel of what he wants to do. I saw him yesterday in BP, and that's what everybody's been telling me. Alex is a guy that he understands his swing. He knows what he wants to do. I saw him last year against lefties. That was pretty good. Rafi was the one actually. We talked a little bit in November, and he was impressed with how Alex hits lefties. And having him, having Xander, Christian in the same lineup, Enrique too, Marwin, those guys, they're going to make contact, and it create balance. And then I think having him, it's going to be, it's very important. Not everybody can go out there and swing at the first pitch all the time. We need balance too in that sense. People that can work the count, can hit with 2 strikes, and he brings that to the equation on a daily basis. I saw it from far, and I'm actually excited to see him, how he works and how he prepares and how he attacks every day during the season.
And I believe it was a couple of years ago where he talked about, I think the contact rate of each World Series winner and how, those teams made contact. Now you're looking at sort of the DJ LeMahieu's and the Corey Seagers sort of get a little bit more credit. Do you think the game is trending in a direction where, there's more of a need for contact?
I believe so. We talked about it yesterday. There's a value about man at third, less than 2 outs, and putting the ball in play. I know a lot of people feel like a strikeout is just an out. Well, it's just an out in certain situations, right? But I think striking out with man at third and less than 2 outs, it's not a positive. It's not just another out. So I think for me, you have to make the contact. Good teams do that, and this is before the last few years. You remember the Kansas City Royals. That's what they did. And they won a World Series, and even the Nationals, right? 2 years ago, they did the same thing, and this year, everything I heard from the people on TV was about the Dodgers making an adjustment and making contact and not striking out as much. So you control the strike zone. Yeah, you do that. You don't chase pitches, but you cannot swing and miss in the strike zone either. And I think the elite teams have been doing that the last few years.
Alex, you obviously have a fairly, you're pretty set at short, third, DH, catcher. Do you expect every other position to change quite a bit from day to day?
We're going to have a lot of moving parts. And this roster gives us that flexibility. And on a daily basis, we'll take a look at it and go from there, and attack whoever we face that day with the best lineup that we can put. It's nothing different than 18. In 18, at first, at second, behind the plate, even at third base, we had moving parts. So this is the benefit of having a flexible roster, versatile players, and good players. And we're gonna do that this season.
And is it at all important that Verdugo have a spot in the outfield, or are you comfortable with him sometimes doing center, sometimes in right?
We'll talk about it. Physically you got to be careful too. Moving people around, but he can play center. He can play right. I think last year they settled with him in right field. Early in the season he was playing left, but we'll talk about it, and we'll make the decision later on in spring. But one thing for sure, he's a great defender. He's a really good defender, and he's going to be very important whatever he plays in the outfield.
Alex, I think you've already said that at least to start the season that you would anticipate probably having 14 pitchers. That leaves you with 12 position players and a 3-man bench. On nights when Marwin is in the lineup for either Dahlbeck or maybe Renfroe, that could leave you without a lefty bat on the bench. Is that an issue for you in terms of balance and, giving you some flexibility with pinch hitting moves?
I mean, there's not too many guys we're gonna hit for in this lineup, but I mean, we're not gonna be perfect. I don't think there's a perfect team out there as far as like stuff like that, right? And we'll see how it plays out, not only in spring training, but obviously early in the season, and then we'll make adjustments. At one point in 18, we weren't there with a right-handed hitter for a while, right? And we kept playing well until we got Pierce at the perfect time. So it's 162 games, obviously. 40-man rosters, and you have to be careful adding people or taking people off, so. But that's a great point. But I do believe that there's certain guys in this lineup that probably their platoon, the splits, they don't indicate they can hit right-handed pitching, but maybe with more opportunity they can do it, and then we don't have to worry about that stuff.
Alex, back in 19, Walden was kind of a crucial part for you in the bullpen. Obviously he gets cut yesterday. First of all, what went into that, and then does it really say something about how much depth that has been accumulated, at least in the last year and a half or so?
It's a tough business, man, and there's certain situations that we like the player, we like the person, but it's a tough one. And he didn't have the best season last year, but at the same time, like you said, there's a lot of good arms out there, and it's tough to make decisions like that, but decisions that you have to make. And we'll see what happens. In his situation, like I told him yesterday, just bounce back. Don't see it as a negative. Although obviously it's tough not to see it that way, but this business, this game, will take care of yourself, and he's a guy he's a hard worker. He made some adjustments in the off season, but at this point, that's the move we had to make.
Alex, ¿alguna información acerca de Franchi Cordero?
Está cerca de venir, todavía tienen que pasar ciertas cosas, pero yo creo que debe estar aquí antes del lunes.
En el caso de J.D. Martínez, ¿tú tienes contemplado ponerlo a jugar ocasionalmente en los jardines?
Sería bueno jugarlo, pero yo creo que con esta alineación es un poquito difícil, pero yo sé que a J.D. le encanta jugar al outfield. También a los otros jugadores hay que darle sus días, pero es un roster tan versátil que hay que buscar la manera de poder lograr eso.
Jaren Durán, ¿qué te ha parecido en los campos de entrenamiento primaverales después de haber acabado en Puerto Rico y en la Serie del Caribe?
No, como le dijimos a él, ven aquí y trabaja de la manera que tú lo haces. Este muchacho, él respira béisbol. Él nació para esto, eso es lo único que él tiene en su bandeja. Y de verdad que ha hecho todo hasta ahora lo que tiene que hacer, seguir las personas correctas, seguir trabajando en su juego, y veremos a ver lo que sucede en el futuro.
Did you say you had an update on Franchi?
Yeah, I mean, he's getting closer. Hopefully we can have him here before Monday, but things are trending to the positive or negative direction.
And did Pulaski arrive yet?
Yeah, he's here. He has to go through physicals and the whole protocols, but he's here, and happy to have him. Be cool to get to know him, get back, to the grind. He's behind in a sense, but not way behind that he's gonna jeopardize the start of the season. But he has some catch up to do.
You guys, anything else?
We're good. Thank you. You like that one? Went in a positive, negative way. Instead,